Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I am, if you hear dinosaurs in the background, random roaring and whatever, my husband's playing Jurassic Park on the Xbox. The children have yet to come home from school, so I thought I'd take this opportune moment to quickly do a voiceover. So this is my shipper. I've read the instructions. Now the instructions say you should start with the background first, which is the sky, okay? Then it would be, this is sea, then the house, and then the foliage, or the garden, whatever. I can't. I just can't, okay? I've never done these before. I've never really tried this technique. Well, I've tried this technique once before. I cannot start with the biggest possible cells. I just can't. Okay, I'm not brave enough. So I'm going to ignore that and go back with the original principle, which is you start with the darkest colour and go to the lightest colour. Okay, so the darkest colour in this kit is the number 24. So I thought I will show you prepping number 24. Yes, move board out of the way. In fact, I'm going to move it well out of the way. I'll bring my paper towel in. And let's have a look at the consistency of this one. Okay. So the thickest paint always ends up in the lid. So just scrape that out and pop it in, because when we're mixing the colour, we want to mix all of the paint. Scoopy, scoopy, scoop. Now, like I say, I'm not an expert in I'm a newbie. Just with my nail journey, this is my paint by numbers journey. This is me giving a go, adapting, learning from people that seem to know what they're doing. You know, Melanie B has got a vast following bank. What are they called? Subscribers. Those are the things. Yeah, those things. You know, and she tries and tests stuff, and she's been going for quite a while, her channel. So you see, oh, I see, it's just a beautiful consistency, but it's not quite. You see how that is not coming off? We're having to wait a little while for that to come off, which means it's too thick. So what we're going to do is we are going to get some straight Flow Aid, which I have in my little bottle. Here's what I prepared earlier. For anybody who remembers Blue Peter, which is probably the English viewers, not. So I'm not brave enough. I mean, she was like, oh yes, add 8 drops. I'm like, well, I'm going to add 2. I'm going to mix them in and I'm going to take it from there and we're going to see where it goes. One thing I did see when I was swatching them is they are different consistencies. Okay, not every paint is the same. So I can't just go and add 8 drops to every single one of them because it would be way too much. Now, the number 1, which I opened first, that was a lot thicker than this one is. So that one may well need 8 drops. Right, so if we bring it out, again, it's better, but it's not there. So I'm going to add another 2 drops. It should be like the consistency of milk, is what she said. So, you know, milk is thicker than water. It should flow off the stick easily. You see how that's still got quite a delay, and when it drops in, yeah, so you can see it's still thick. Like I say, this is trial and error for me, people. You know, I just thought it'd be helpful to see what I'm doing. I'm not going to do this on every single one because that will be boring. 2 more drops. And then what I'm going to do is, once I've shown you basically how I'm prepping my paint, then I'm going to put this on a bit of a time lapse. And I might untime lapse bits where I think there's something important I need to say. Oh, see, that one's coming off a lot quicker now. Let's have a look. So, yeah, it's... And it's not... When it drops in, you see, it disappears really quickly. Okay, I'm tempted to add another one. Let me add another drop. See, I may end up with 8 drops of them. Give this a really good stir. Okay. You know what? I think I can even go one more. And then I am at the 8 drops. I think. I don't know. Has anybody been counting? I thought I was counting. I'm now not convinced I am counting. Stir that up. There you go. Look how quickly that comes off. Boing. Okay, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to wipe that off, all the excess off, because, you know, don't waste the paint. Yeah, I waste a little bit of paint because, you know, I can't get all of it off my stick. If anybody's wondering, this is a polygel spatula that I'm using. Because, you know, I don't have a stirring stick. I don't even have matchsticks because I don't use matchsticks. Oh, I'm just going to move that. Right, so I've got my paint ready. Put my lid back on that. Now I'm going to get my board and we're going to hope for the best. And I'm going to start. One thing I did say in my other video is I was like, oh yeah, I go there, 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 there. And I was right, because then I swapped it around and went, no, it's there, 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 there. Because it isn't, because my hand goes here. So I do there, to there, to there, to there. And then I will come back up to the top. But normally I'll turn my board so my hand isn't in that circle. There you go. Right, wet my brush. I've got my wipes to reshape my brush. So I just wet my brush in water just to clean it off. And then I just twirl it on here. So it reshapes it into a nice point. Right. And now I'm going to have the fun of finding all the 24s. So I've got one up here. I'm going to try not to put my face in the middle of this at the same time as doing it. And it says to edge it first.
Do you need anything from the shop?
All good, thanks, Dad.
Okay.
Oh, maybe not. Adam's gone out the door.
Yes, just one thing. So get some cat biscuit. Yeah, it'll just be like a whiskers. It's purple pot on cat food. Well, it's not the same stuff they commonly use, but it's just cat biscuit.
There you go. You get some interesting stuff in my videos. Let's have cat biscuits. I don't know about this brush though. I mean, it feels nice because it's nice and light, but I really like my brush. Okay, so let me see if I can show you that. Let me just clean my brush off quickly. Reshape it. Let's have a look at this. I've got to be really careful now as I lift this up. So you make like a little puddle. Let's see if you can see that. Can you see that? And you see how it's all the same height all the way through? You see that? Hopefully that's showing up. Trying to catch it in the light, and we try and keep it in the lines. Now this is an ungessoed one. I have not gessoed this board. You can gesso a Schipper board, not other boards, but you need to have the right tools and techniques for it, and I don't know how to do that. So I'm not. This is just as it is. So that's the technique I'm going to use. I think I'm going to swap to a smaller brush, and I'm going to try my... Where's it gone? That's my number 4, and I think that might be a bit small. Let's give it a go. Take off that water. I'm going to move my paint up a bit because it's right in
Okay, so it said to outline it first and then fill it in. I'm not going to lie, it's very hard to tell. Because it's the opposite side of where I'm looking. I'm trying not to get my face in the middle of this as well,
which I'm not sure I'm succeeding on. Anywho, right, I'm going to pop this over to time-lapse now, and we're going to do a bit of that instead.
So the rest of this video now is going to be me time-lapsing. I'm going to use that same technique. I swapped brushes so many times during the course of this painting. I mean, to start with, I kept swapping back to the ones that I used before, which is my acrylic brushes, which I really like those brushes, but they just didn't hold enough liquid. I either couldn't get the droplet to be right on the tip, or it just wouldn't hold enough. So it just really wasn't the right kind of brush. So although I tried probably about 5 different brushes, I ended up coming back to the Schipper brush, and I ended up using the Schipper brush then for the rest of this piece completely. I really like the brush. I do. The only criticism I have is that it was very difficult to get the edging right. You know, when you've got a really nice crisp line, and I struggled with that. Part of it was my technique. Because like I say, I've never done this technique before. And as I got through this design, my technique did get better in that it was how, you know, you got to press gently on the brush. If you're going to do a small cell that has that line, you know, you want a crisp line, wash your brush first. So it's then fresh paint, try and edge that. So it is possible to do it. I'm going to cough. But it wasn't easy to do straight off the bat. The brush, however, is beautiful. And because I do that technique where I wash the brush and then I recondition it, it's still going. I got through the whole of this painting, no problems. That brush could do me another painting. It's still good. Like I say, you're going to see me on this sometimes changing brushes. The angles are going to change. The lighting is going to change. I've never done a time-lapse before. I've never done something like this before. So I wasn't certain how it was all going to work and what lighting worked best. I did change my lighting at once because what I did find difficult is it's a very white background. And I struggle a lot with really, really white backgrounds. So I did change my lighting at one point to a softer light because I normally have a cool, it's kind of like a whitey blue light. Do you know what I mean? The cool white light rather than a bright white light. Does that make sense? I don't know. If you know, you know. Let's put it that way. So I changed it to a warm lighting in the hope that it would just take that off. But do you know what? It gave me migraines. It really gave me bad headaches because I'm very sensitive to different colours. And so normally when I'm working on something like this that's, you know, really intense focus, I will go put my glasses on, and my glasses are tinted blue, which is why the cool light worked really, really well. Oh, so we're going to do the big section now. This was brilliant. There I was, so petrified of this. I really had no reason to be. This brush worked brilliantly. The longer you are using the brush, so between washing it, the more liquid it seems to hold. So I learnt with the big sections, don't wash my brush as often. But you can feel the brush starts to get a little bit hard when you know you really do need to clean the brush because, you know, it's starting to dry in the brush. Make sure you have warm water because it helps get any bit that's dry out of the brush, and obviously really then condition the brush afterwards, giving it a really good clean, and that worked really well. So I did actually enjoy doing the big sections. I found it more difficult doing the very small cells, of which there are some in here. You see what I mean? I've got to move the board around. I can't keep it straight. when I'm trying to do these sections, because my hand is just going to go slap bang in the middle of this. I did try then doing my videos in shorter time lapses, because it time lapses to 30 seconds, but however long that takes me is what it condenses it down to. So in some bits it sped up so quickly, as you can see, that it's difficult to try and keep the consistency of the time right, because obviously it depends how many I'm doing of that particular colour, which is something else I found quite difficult with this one, is I don't normally do all the number ones, or the number twos, or the number threes. That's not how I work. I tend to work in different sections. As I showed you before, I will flip between one corner to the next, corner to the next, corner to the next. Whereas with this, I did find it was a case of having to do each colour. Because once I'd prepped the paint, when it's been sat for a while, so say, you know, like this took me weeks to do. I know it's a matter of minutes in here, but it did take me weeks, if not, I don't actually know how long it took me, probably about 6 weeks. I know I've had a couple of nail changes in between this as well, which is the other thing you're going to see. The paints just started to separate a bit, and I just had to then rework them. In some cases I had to put some more flow aid in to improve the consistency again. So it was different, but I really enjoyed this painting. It was the only one I had that I would say that was still translucent was number 6. That's the only one that I had to go over twice. Every other one covered first time. I had 0 issues with coverage and this technique. I really enjoyed this one. I didn't enjoy time-lapsing it. Sorry, I'm coughing again. Yeah, I've got the dreaded cough. I've now got a child that's just come and invaded me. The paints were nice, and I think because I was using them with this technique. If I tried to use them with the old technique where I was pushing them on, I would have had a lot more difficulties, I think, than I actually did for this. But because of the way this piece works, is it doesn't have to be set lines. You know, it didn't matter if they went slightly in or out, or, you know, it really wasn't a problem at all. So I stopped worrying about that so much, and only worried about it on the bits where I actually had to do the straight lines, you know, around the windows and the door and, you know, the framing bits. What I did with the gate, because I wasn't happy with how that ended up looking, is I did just come in later and just edge it again. So it just gave a crisper line, because I did struggle with that again because it was very small cells. So you see what I mean? We've gone into absolute manic speed on this one because it was a really large amount that I was doing. So when I'm videoing, which is what I learned later on in the video, is I kind of time myself of how long I want it. So it'd be like a half an hour, and then I would stop it, and then I'd start recording again just to kind of get the speed a bit better, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. But yeah, I liked this. I liked the technique. I liked the board as well. That was so much easier to work on than the canvas, which is obviously a big giant board. There is no way I could do a time lapse of one of my canvases. They're just too big. I just don't have the space to do it. I might be able to do it in sections, but again, I'm not convinced I would use this technique on the canvas. I don't know, because the next canvas that I want to do has, again, it doesn't have a lot of sharp lines, so this technique could work quite well. And again, if the paints are crappy for that kit, then I probably would use the this version, this method even, to do them. I've got a child looking at me, all forlorn, on the floor, because he wants something. What do you want, child? Can you clean the table?
Scrub it.
Yes, please. Why would I ever say no to you cleaning the table? That would be a miracle.
Sorry about interrupting.
That's quite all right, my love. why would any parent complain about their child actually wanting to clean? There you go. See, more randomness for my videos. But if you know my videos, you know this is what happens. I was going to put music to this. I still can't figure out what the hell I'm doing with music to not get myself banned, or I just don't get it. My software does have music available on it, but again, I don't know if that's free. Well, it's free, but I don't know if I have to put like special tags or whatever on it, so I haven't done that. Just trying to think what else I can tell you really about this. Not a lot really, other than make sure you leave it flat, because obviously it will run if you don't. And what else can I tell you? I don't think there's a lot really. So I'm going to shut up at this point, and I'm just going to let the rest of this video go, and you're just going to watch me fill in the rest. The only thing actually that isn't on here is me filling in the white, because you honestly, you can't tell any difference really from the because it's white underneath and it's white on top. And I have put a picture at the end of the final version. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy this time lapse. If this is something that you do like, please let me know, and I may look at doing one again in the future for you. I shall see you again soon. Bye.